Hello guys, Maxie here. So today what we're gonna do is uh, trying to find the or enable the debug menu for this game, which is Disco Elysium. So open your game now and then open your cheat engine. And the one I'm using is currently the latest stable one release, which is Cheat Engine 7.2. Okay, so let's get started. Yeah, let's just try a new game first. Just take any of this. I don't know. Probably just take it as thinker one. This is just we're gonna skip this first. Okay, now we are at now we're at the first scene of the game, which is in your apartment, basically. Okay, now let's go to our cheat engine and then attach cheat engine to the game, which is disco.exe. If you go into the process, if you go into the applications, you can just see the Disco Elysium one. So pick whichever you like. So like right now I'm choosing the processes one, the process tab, and I'm choosing disco.exe. Press open or double click it. Okay, no. Okay, now. Okay, when you hook into this game, you will see a new tab over here, which is mono, because this game is made in Unity and it uses mono features. So we can just enable this and just activate mono features, I guess. And after we activate it, we can just click to the net info, which this is only available in cheat engine 7.2 and probably above. So if you're using an older cheat engine, you won't see this section, the .net info. I mean, you could try to use dissect mono, but in for this one, I'm using the latest one. I'm trying to show you. Basically, you can see other stuff as well. Instead of using dissect mono, where everything is just a bit hard to find each one by one. So we just keep to net info. Okay. Uh, when we're playing with Unity games, when we're trying to find the classes and the methods in most of the games using mono features or mono IL to CPP, we will see a lot of images here, like this one, mono security, full serializer, Galaxy C sharp, assembly C sharp, or assembly C sharp first pass, and most of the time it is usually all of the classes that we need to find to make a cheat with cheat engine or trying to make a script. It usually is in the assembly C sharp or assembly C sharp first pass, but most of the time it's usually in assembly C sharp. So let's just click it, and then we see a lot of this. I don't know which one it is, but when you scroll down, you will see stuff related to the game itself, like this one: camera, channel, character, blah blah blah, check Lua, check advisor, check Ultron. Okay, so what we're going to try to find it first is, let's just try to search for strings like debug. Okay, now we're seeing some debug stuff: debug utils, debug bash normal, sunshine, debug modes. And okay, let's just scroll this down a bit. Okay, this is basically the static fields, which we could not find anything stuff. And we see this one, demo mode always unlock, convention mode always unlock, and get current mode and other stuff. Okay, I mean, we could try to go here, and then we right click and JIT or get address, which is we're going to just in time. But let's try to find out what accesses this instruction, because we probably find anything, I guess. Yes, attached to the debugger. And the problem is that we cannot find anything because we don't know if it's accessed or not. And right now it's not accessing any value, so it's supposed to access the value, but it doesn't. So where is it? So that's the problem. So let's try to, in the previous updates, the value is kept in this method, which is get current mode or get current modes, I think. But right now the method is not accessing it. So let's just try to go over this one. Okay, this one is not. Okay, so we know, okay, right now over this one we see there's a player mode, there's a demo mode, and there's a developer mode. And there's no address here, so we cannot access anything. So how are we supposed to access it if we don't even know where is it? So there's over here, get shortcuts active, set current mode, is debug mode. Let's try to do this instead. Okay, let's try to check over this one and find out, because we in the get is debug mode method, so find out what addresses the instruction accesses. Nope, cannot find anything. So what do we do? Okay, we're kind of confused right now because we don't know, because we want to access the debug mode, but at the same time we don't know where the debug mode is, where is the address holding the flag. And now if you go to the Sunshine debug modes and you see the static fields here, you see the current mode K backing field, so it holds some kind of stuff. I'm not sure. Okay, so when double click it, it shows as 0 when the value is probably something else, and there's an address here too. So let's just take the address. How am I supposed to take the address? I guess I have to type it normally. Okay, so let's just type it normally. 2167 0D 78 E84, is it correct? Okay, 296, okay, 21670D78E84. Okay, okay, let's just type in probably debug flag. We don't know if this is a debug flag or not, but we just assume it is a debug flag. Okay, now what? Okay, assume that we have the debug flag, but how do we enable it? Okay, how do we enable debug mode is basically you can just go to your browser and then just search for I don't know. Okay, I remember there's one site that I searched for when I tried to find any information about the debug mode, which is TCRF. Okay, you see this one, TCRF Disco Elysium Windows, and this site is mainly a site where they collect everything related to debugging materials and stuff, and including the debug menu, so they include them as well. And when you scroll down, okay, you see there's another alternative mode to enable debug mode, and what they're showing is that they're modifying the game setting files like this one as shown. But what we're trying to do is that we want to enable or disable debug mode whenever we want without actually changing the settings file. I mean, like you don't need to close or open the game just to enable or disable the debug mode. We can just enable and disable it through the script that we want to make it right now. So okay, assume that this is, assume that they're using this method, but at the same time, how do we enable the stuff, what do you call it, the menu? Okay, you see this? Okay, now you're saying in-game. Once in-game, the debug menu can be opened by pressing period, which is the dot key or the period key. So and there's some of the overviews of the debug menu as well. So we can just skip this because we know that the button is period. Okay, now usually when we're dealing with stuff like Boolean flags, or I don't know, like simple flags, which is not a big value, usually 0 means false, and everything other than 0 is true, but usually 1 is true. But as we see here before, there's three mode, and I can assume that the player mode is the mode that we're currently in right now, which is the 0 one. So is it debug mode, or is it the player mode, which is 0? I assume so. And let's try to change it to 1 to see if it changes anything. And then let's try to press period. Okay, it stuck a bit. Okay, now we already see the debug menu, and then we can just toggle it to close it. Okay, so we can just disable it, 0, and then when we try to press period again, it doesn't show up because we already disabled, because we already changed the mode into player mode. And the one is probably the demo mode, I guess, and the second one is let's just try to enable this first. Okay, this is, I assume this is the demo mode, and the one we were in before without the debug mode is without the debug stuff is the play mode. Let's just press period. Okay, we see the dev here. I assume that's the developer mode. Okay, notice the value here. Let's just try to enable it. Okay, now it changes to 2, and when you disable it, it changes to 1. So we can assume that player mode is 0, demo mode is 1, and developer mode is 2. So what can we do with this? I mean, like, how can we enable it by making a script of it? So let's just disable it first, and right click and choose find out what accesses the address, because we want to know the instruction that accesses the address continuously. So let's just click on this or press F5. Okay, right now there are a lot of addresses accessing it, but I usually just want to take the one with the highest count. It's easier. Okay, let's take the one with the highest count, and there are a lot of addresses accessing it, but I'll just use the one with the highest count and the one that's very on top. Okay, show disassembler, and then okay, you see that the addresses name is gone, because when we try to access something many times, the mono features automatically get deattached, so we have to reattach it. Okay, now you're saying that this is in the general controller update. What about this one? I mean, make sure you already stop this, because if you continuously searching for accessing for it, the mono will automatically attach and deattach if you try to attach it. So let's go to the next one. Okay, inventory manager update. What's this one? Inventory manager, this one. Okay, the one I'm using before, it's basically the inventory manager update. I mean, you could use this one, the general controller, up to you, but I'll try to use this one, inventory manager update. And once you see this, you can just make a script out of it. So let's just go to tools, auto assembler, template, okay, AOB injection. Okay, let's just type in debug toggle. Okay, let's just wait for a bit. Yeah, I know it's not responding. It will respond after this. Okay, now we're seeing that when we see the AOB scan, we see the debug toggle error could not find a unique AOB, try code stuff. So what this means is that it tries to find a unique array of bytes, but it can, because there are a lot of address bytes. There's this collection of bytes which we call the array of bytes. There are too many that they cannot be distinguished basically that cannot be differentiated. So if you try to enable one, it will enable all the other stuff as well, and we don't want that. But luckily, because this game is using mono, so and we already have this one, this address here, this, what do we call, the classes and the methods here, usually they're independent, so we can just try to search to scan only in that particular class or method. So right now we just want to scan for the region of the method itself, which is Sunshine Inventory Manager Update. So the what do you call it? So the method is update, and the class is Sunshine Inventory Manager. That's the whole class. Okay, so right now, how do we scan the region itself? So let's just change the AUB scan to AUB scan region, and then we can just remove this error stuff, remove this one, and then just type in what is it? Okay, let's just right click this one and copy to clipboard and take the addresses only, and it will take the addresses basically from Sunshine Inventory Manager Update 1A. It will take a whole of them. So we just want to scan because we want to scan the whole region, so we start from the one with the offset, basically the first one, until the end of the offset. So which one? AC. We can search for AC, I guess. So we put the beginning of the region scan, and then the end of the region scan, which is AC, or probably you want to put 100, because there's nothing in 100, but it still tries to go inside this region, even if it's not there. Okay, so where is our instruction? Okay, one thing that I like to do is that when you right click it and you see the add to a code list, okay, region to add, yes. Okay, you see this one. What name do you want to give this code? This is one of the ways that I usually use to make sure that everything that I basically every instruction that I try to do and I want to refer to it later, I can just access this in another place. So when I add it to the code list, so when I access the code list that I already have, and I just double click it, and it will be easy to access it instead of searching the instruction again. Yeah, so like that. So let's just type in debug toggle. So when we do the debug toggle stuff, okay, and yeah, it's kept in the code list. So when we click the advanced options is where the code list is kept. You see the code list, pause, and the address and the debug toggle. When I double click it, we'll go to this address, for example. Yeah, it will go to this address in the memory viewer, as you can see. Okay, now we see the array of bytes here, but I just want to make it as unique as possible. It's not like it's not unique already, but I just want to make sure that if there are some bytes that we can change, okay, because it doesn't rely on any offsets. So I guess that's enough. We don't need to change anything. Okay. One thing that I like to do is that okay, you don't need to change anything. Okay, let's just try to take this part. You can type this. What we're trying to do is just we're taking the value itself. We're taking the address of the register. Like RAX is a register. This one is a register. This one is a register. So what we're trying to do is taking the address, or taking the value of the address itself of the RAX, for example, and then we're going to point it to the value that we want to change. How to do that? Okay, let's just do some stuff here. Just put it between code and debug toggle. Let's just put it debug flag like this, and then we allocate what type of value, like what value type that we want to use. Usually I'll just use because it's just a flag and we don't need really big values for it, value type. So we can just use the dd. dd means declare d word. D word is basically double word, and each word contains 2 bytes. So if it's double word, then 2 plus 2 equals to 4. So dd means declare d word. So I can just put it as 0 by default. And let's just type in move debug flag. Okay, before we do this, don't forget to register the symbol, because when we do the register symbol, we want to make it so that everything outside of this script is accessible, not just in this script. So everything in the memory can access it, because when we don't register the symbol, it only restricts us inside the script and it cannot be accessed by others as well. So register symbol, debug flag. Okay, make sure you use the correct parentheses or brackets like this one. Okay, move debug flag. Okay, this one is brackets and this one a parenthesis. Okay, this one. Okay, move debug flag RAX. Okay, now you notice that this one has brackets and this one doesn't, and this one has a bracket and this one doesn't. So now I'm trying to make it as clear as I can without confusing every single one of this. Okay, so debug flag. So here we're actually moving when there is a bracket, we're actually referring to the value of the address. You understand? Like this value, not this value. This is okay. I will assume that this is the address and this is the value. So when we're talking about the debug flag in the bracket, we're talking about the value. So what are we trying to do then? I'm trying to move this address into the value. Okay, it's kind of weird, right? Okay, but what happens if we try to do this and when we try to save the script, which is file assigned to current cheat table? Okay, it doesn't allow you to, because you have to move the address into the value of the debug flag, because it doesn't know where is it. So needless to say, we have to do these brackets. So when we do this, it basically moves the address of RAX into the debug flag, into the value of debug flag. Okay, I will explain to you later. So let's just go to file, assign to current cheat table. Okay, and then you can just close this and then add address manually, which is the debug flag that we already typed in. Debug flag. Okay, there's 2 ways to do this. You can put it as a bracket, you can put it not as a bracket. But if you don't do this as a bracket, it will show the value with the address. But if you put the brackets in, it will show the direct value, basically the pointer from the address. Okay, I will show the difference. Okay, this one is without the brackets. Okay, yeah, we have to enable this first. Okay, let's just enable this. Okay, now you will see some gibberish because the address is in hexadecimals. So let's just show as hexadecimals. And okay, make sure that the address value is the same, and it only cuts to half of this because this is a 8-byte address. So double click and change it to 8 bytes. It will show the whole address of the 8 bytes. And for the another way, which is with the brackets, as I said before, and we only need the 4 bytes, and we don't need the hexadecimals. So you see, this is with the brackets because it becomes a pointer. When it becomes a pointer, it already is pointed to the one that we want to change. Basically, it points to the address with the value. You understand? Like this one, in the case of this one, it doesn't point to anything, it just points to the address. But when we try to do the same thing again, okay, let's just try to okay, just click the pointer and then just remove the brackets, and then you see it points to the same thing too. It points to the debug flag, and the second one and the third one is the same thing. So whichever you want to choose, you can do as a pointer one. So you can just put the brackets and it will become a pointer, or you can just choose the pointer checkbox here. So if you have any offsets you want to add, it's easier because it already provides it for you, like add address, add offset. But in this case, we don't need any offsets, so it's 0. So yeah, that's how you do it. But in order to make it like a proper way, so I'll just change it to debug mode toggle, and then I don't need this one, I just need this one. Okay, I'll just take this one and just name debug flag, and let's just put the drop down options. Just put it when the value is 0, it's player mode. When it's 1, it's called the demo mode, and when it's 2, it's called developer mode, dev mode. It's easier and shorter. So now you're seeing that because we already logged the values, so you can only change between the player mode or the demo mode or the dev mode. So yeah, that's it. And when we disable it, we already disabled the script, so it is not accessed by anything else. So when we enable it, can we enable it? Debug flag was supposed to be added to the symbol list, but it isn't declared. Okay, something wrong here. Oh, okay, because I forgot to unregister symbol, that's why. Because when we register any symbols, don't forget to unregister it. Debug flag. Okay, my bad. Yes, because when we try to go to this one, okay, it's already registered, but we forgot to unregister it. Okay, let's enable this. Okay, now it automatically shows the player mode itself. And when we go to demo mode or something else, demo mode, dev mode. Okay, let's just go to demo mode, then just enable it with the period stuff. See, now we can choose our menu or our functions or anything that you want to change based on the menus that they already gave it. Yeah, this one, animations, character functions, stats and items. Okay, while we're still at Disco Elysium debug menu, I'll try to explain anything that I know about. So when you open the debug menu, you will see a lot of stuff here. You will see like T and M. T refers to the teleport. Like when you enable this, you can just click anywhere that you can be, and it will teleport you to the okay, we teleport to the outside. Okay, so when you disable it, it will go back to normal. You can just still walk. And for the +1k and the -1k, it is not explainable. It's not explainable, sorry. It is not explained in the website that I showed you before, nor is it available from other places. But I searched for it in the game's DLL, which is the assembly C#, as I shown you before. Basically what it means is that the +1k and the -1k refers to the in-game when you try to do any options, like where is it? Okay, like this one, the visual calculus. This is a white check, and you see this is white check. It has a high percentage, which is the 92%, and you see the visual calculus, which is 5. But what this one does is the green check, the green +1k, it basically adds a 1000 bonus to the number of dice, to the number of values that you get from both dice. If, for example, you have like 5 and then it adds to 1000, surely you will win, of course, right? Because when you try to win, it basically calculates the probability, but the probability is so high because it adds 1000 of it, so you will always surely win. Like this one, it will subtracts 1000 for a bonus, so you will always lose. So you need to enable it always to make sure that you will always win every check, or you will just enable this one to lose every single check that you have. And you can just toggle it on and off, but you cannot enable both of this, of course. And for the teleport, this one is the teleport one, and this one is the map one. As you can see, it's not labeled. There's a problem here. Okay, just go here because this is a low resolution, because I want to show you the cheat engine and any other stuff. And for the D, I forgot what D is. You can check the sites. And for the F, which is the functions, you can change the day, you can change the time, you can change the tick. Character functions, these are for morale. One of these for morale, one is for health. This is for health, this is for morale. Get all keys, sorts and items, get item stuff, corp reputation, dialogue functions, archetypes, probably to max out your archetypes without getting all of the skills, and visual stuff if you want to enable or disable stuff, notifications just for testing, like item loss but you didn't lose anything, just for the notifications test. Party, newspaper, endgames, I don't want to open that because it might be a spoiler. Portrait notifications, probably for the level up one. Archetypes, achievements, here you can get, if you know the achievement IDs, you can just add the achievement name and then set it, and it will add the achievement to your Steam. Not just for the Steam one, yes, set all Steam stats and achievement. If you want to reset all the achievements that you have and all the stats, just press this and it will reset all your Steam stats and achievements. If you want to start over most of the time. And the fonts, I never touch with the fonts, visual stuff. Yeah, that's it. And then for the B1, we call it as a Boolean variable. This is the variables for the tasks or everything that is related to the missions or the quests. So when we search for stuff, and then when you enable some of the stuff, it will surely enable. So like if you wanna get past some of the missions, but you already you cannot even find how to deal with the mission, you can just go to this part and then just search for example, Kim. Okay, we must have 4 characters. Sorry, just take Kuno. This is Kuno is one of the characters in this game. So when you see this, and yeah, we can just double click it, or just click it once and press done. And when we click it, it will basically make it as yes. So you already did this. And when you try to do this, it will just remove this from this section, and it will stay in the main variable section. I will just let it to no then, because I haven't done it. I can just close it and close the menu with the period key. And when you're done with it, don't forget to change your demo mode to player mode, or you can just disable it. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, because when we disable it, we forgot to change the values, so it still stick to the debug mode, which is we can still enable the debug mode, the demo mode. So before that, one thing that I like to do, which is easier, okay, let's just type in Lua. Yeah, we're gonna mess with Lua a bit. ASM, because this is only the Lua section that we want to change. We already registered symbol debug flag here. Just copy this just paste this as debug flag, and then let's just call this debug flag. Okay, make sure you have the brackets because we want to change the values. We don't want to change the address, we want to change the values. So debug flag, which is debug flag, right integer, can we write byte? Nope. Right integer, put the parentheses, debug flag, what's the value? Because when we want to disable it, we just want to reset it to 0. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's try to enable this demo mode, and we'll disable it. Yeah, it resets to 0. That's it. So there you have it. That's how you make yourself a debug menu mode toggle for Disco Elysium. I mean, this is not actually practical for every single game that has debug mode. It might have, it might not have, and it's not as easy that as it is on this on other games as it's easy on this game. I mean, there are multiple ways on how to access it. Some of it might need you to actually access the function, basically call the function for the debug and then enable it so that you can access the debug mode function. But in the case of this one, it's already easy because it already has the checks continuously writing to the game, to the in-game, so you can just enable it and disable it whenever you want. So yeah, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and see you guys next time.